thank you everyone for inviting me to be here to share my truth and my story of my community in the most northern, rural, poor, desperate, small community that I call home. Delaha, Shahushi, Briannan, Huete Trait Fraley, Shi, Yantaket, Dani, because there are so many inequities. And I want to share my story about how that impacts my family, my future, my children, our community, and actually the state of California's future and our collective well-being. I want to start with the motto of the school district, small but mighty school district, one district for the entire county. The school district motto is to be safe, responsible, and respectable. And the inequitable funding of state facilities is a barrier to our safety and well-being of our children and community. We can't even live up to our school motto that we promote and share on a daily basis as our schools, or as our children enter our school doors. So a little bit about me. I grew up in Del Norte County. I'm a citizen of the Tolowa Dani Nation, as Nicole introduced me, meaning that I have chosen to live here in my community and hometown. And actually, it's more than a choice. It's a responsibility that I have to my people and my community, to my culture, in order for us to hold on to any remnants we have left of Indigenous people from this place. Assimilation, and actually the school district itself has imposed rules and requirements that restrict us from being who we are as Indigenous people. And this plays into the facilities, the curriculum, the ability to bring in teachers, to have the resources that we need to have a prolific, robust education for our community. We have the highest Native population in all of the state, with over 7% of the student population being Native American, my children being 4 of those. I'm a mom of 4 students, 3 in elementary school and 1 in the middle school. There's only 1 middle school district-wide. But I want to talk about my children's experience and advocate for their experience in the Del Norte County school systems. And so right now my children go to Pine Grove Elementary School, which is one of 4 of the K through 5 schools. There's one middle school, Crescent Elk Middle School, 6th through 8th grade, and then one countywide main high school, Del Norte High School. A number of years ago, when my now 13-year-old son was at Pine Grove School, he suffered a major accident on the playground, which resulted us having to go to the emergency room and endure traumatic events where needles were jabbed in his face. He was profusely bleeding, and it required stitches to sew up his face from the dilapidated facilities that are not maintained because of the inequitable funding. And so I really appreciate us all coming together to talk about this demand letter, because it's had physical impacts on my family and also an expense to me. The emergency room bills were in the thousands of dollars, and I am now been sent to debt collectors because I can't pay those bills because of the inadequate and inequitable funding that we're talking about today. So that was one example of trauma that was a result of the inequitable funding that is the current situation and landscape that we're facing in a rural community. And then I'll come to present day. Just a couple weeks ago, I decided to take my family to a community event in a different school district. We traveled an hour and a half south to Humboldt County, and we participated in a community evening event where there was a puppet shadow show. And when we got to the school grounds, we walked in, and it was this beautiful school field, and my boys just started darting and running towards the field, and they were so excited, and they said, "Mom, can we go to school here?" And I was like, "Why, honey?" They said, "Because they have a field and we can play in it." And it just broke my heart that I'm contemplating, taking my kids on a commute an hour and a half south just so that they can have accessible facilities. The school that I'm talking about, Pine Grove, and many other schools, the fields, we can't even play in the fields. The students are told you cannot go in the fields because it's not safe. And so they're limited to the blacktop. Right now, we have caution tape around all the play facilities because they're not safe. And then also one other thing, so that's the outside infrastructure. We're not even talking about going into some of the things that John was mentioning around the black mold. And so we don't have adequate facilities, classroom sizes. And so there's this, era of bringing in modulars. Well, these modulars are not designed for our temperate rainforest. So I forgot to mention, if you haven't been to Del Norte County, it's one of the most beautiful places in the world with, being in this temperate climate. But the statewide funding and allocation results in us having to bring in these modulars that were built for Southern California and not meant for us. And we are constantly having to use our facility resources to try to eradicate black mold that is rotting the school system. And so those are some of the things that were impacted by in my life. It's coming at an expense to my children, our well-being, and our financial expenses to the inequities in this statewide funding. And so my ask today is to, hear us and take us seriously to the effect that it's not fair, it's harmful, and I would love to have my children be able to live up to the motto of safe, responsible, and respectful. Thank you for your time today.